Yo, we are back, man, covering one of my favorite runs in comics right now, Mr. Terrific Year 1, issue number 4, featuring the Batman. Yo, what are we waiting on? Roll that intro, cuz. Yeah. What's going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Earth Smack the Mad Scientist, and welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media channel and another episode of Comic Book Declassified. Now, you want to stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to give you my personal review of this issue of Mrs. Terrific. So now, let's jump into it. So, issue number 4 picks up where issue 3 left off. Cormorant is beating the brakes off of Michael Holt. Now, to be fair, Mike, this is his first job as Mr. Terrific. So, I mean, that's growing pains. You know what I'm saying? Saying Cormorant, he knows a little bit of martial arts. And luckily for Michael, he is very, very smart. So he used one of his T-spears to say, initiate Big Bang. So when he initiates the Big Bang, he was able to cause a distraction, which flooded out the area. But there was other soldiers that stupidly shot rounds in the Nexus engine and caused a huge explosion, which pretty much put Michael at a disadvantage because he was basically about to die until the Spectre saved him. Now you fast forward over to Lex Luthor, like Lex Corp, who shows up but the Batman, and he drops off 2 subordinates of Lex Luthor. He was like, I thought bats returned to their caves when the sun came up. He was like, I fished these 2 out the bay late last night. He was like, Metropolis Bay? He was like, nah, Gotham. But you already knew that. There was an explosion near the docks, and the whole area's being irradiated. He like, Shane, I ensure Mercy and Benjamin can get the best care. Like, if I find any evidence that this was you, he like, save your threats for that pasty clown and that riddle posing idiot. Now, I had poor Mercy here looking into real estate. That's all. He like, you're lying, Lex. As always. He like, am I? Prove it. He was like, stay your ass out of Gotham. And see, that was just it. That was just I wouldn't say an empty threat. That was just a simple threat and a promise that if you don't stay out of Gotham, I'm gonna be all up in your business. Now, fast forward over to Athena and Cormorant. Now, Cormorant is really trying to tell Athena it's Michael because he was able to break that helmet and reveal who it was. He's like, nah, this is not Michael. She's like, nah, I'm telling you, it is him. I saw his face. And she was like, and you, Cormorant, like, you can get out my sight. You're fired. Like, you won't be doing anything for me anymore. Guards escort Mr. Wells out of the facility. He's like, I'm telling you, it is Michael. He's like, I am so tired of you talking to me like I'm an idiot. Do you know the mountains I've had to climb to get here? Of course not. You're a failed gun for hire, a pigeon pretending to be Cormorant. Now, I know Michael Holt, and he is not some action hero breaking into my tower. Now, get out of my face. She was not listening. You would think, like, out of all technology that they have in that building, they don't have security cameras. Like, you can't look back at the footage and find out, is he telling the truth or not? But her rage took over, and she was not thinking clearly. Considering the fact that she's viewed as a very smart person, especially she was able to buy Holt Industries from Holt himself and was able to create this Nexus engine. I don't know. And maybe it's a little bit of a plot hole. But by herself, someone is talking to her, and the person that's talking to her is Darkseid. He was like, when all shall fall on their knees from the power of the dark hand. And she was like, there's been a setback, but I'm working on it. He was like, great. Herald would proclaim his name. He like, please, I just need, like, his armies will strike and wade through the oceans of blood. All shall scream, Darkseid is. So it goes on to say, like, do your part, or I will keep you alive as I peel the flesh off your bones and feed it to my hellhounds while you watch. Am I clear? So she's under pressure. Like, there's a time limit for what she got going on here, okay? So now you fast forward to Holt. Like, he's healing from his wounds from his first job, and he's debating whether he should go back out there and be Mr. Terrific again, considering. But Bruce Wayne is at the front door, so he very much knows Bruce Wayne. He was like, yeah, you should see the other guy. He like, look, I'm sorry to just pop up on you, my man, but there's a problem in Gotham, and I was wondering if you could help. He like, well, what kind of problem? So from that standpoint, he says he looks at the destruction of what happened because he was there at the destruction. He's like, whatever triggered the explosion took out 5 city blocks. Fortunately, these docks and warehouses haven't been in use in decades. He was like, all right, silver linings. He said, but for how the levels of netherlight radiation are off the charts. He like, but netherlight radiation is harmless to humans. He like, not at these levels. That's over 20 sieverts. The human body can't process that. And I've only seen that type of output with the technology you and your wife were developing back when I was trying to buy Holt Industries. And he chimes in and says, yeah, I should have sold it to you. He's like, yeah, you should have. But you sold it to Athena Prescott instead. Now, what about the engine? Luthor would pay a mint for that alone. He's like, Athena got it all, including the engine. So he was like, so that's what her Nexus project is? But Prescott Industries is in Gateway City. Athena wouldn't split her resources and build an engine in Gotham. He was like, somebody did. He like, you think I had something to do with it? He like, nah, I ain't saying all that. But right now, I just need somebody to fix it. And this is where you come in. So this is where truly Holt really shines. Like this, I mean, I know we remember him as Mr. Terrific and the T-Spears and what he's able to do with technology, but his greatest superpower is definitely his mind. So he goes on to say, he was good, and talking about Bruce, really good. If I knew then what I know now, it would have made all the sense. But as it was a billionaire playboy, Bruce Wayne was schooling all those Ivy League educated scientists. His math wasn't quite right, but it wasn't his fault. Netherlight radiation is obscure. It behaves differently. We worked on it all day, but something just wasn't adding up until it did. So now at this point, Bruce left Michael Holt to his devices, but he had to put on the mantle of Batman, but at the same time, he was observing. So Alfred goes on to tell him, he doesn't look like a guilty man, sir. He looks like a man trying to find a solution. He like, and you, why aren't you helping him? You have 4 hours until the winds shift. He was like, I fed all the data to the Bat computer. It's 10 times more efficient than the ones at Wayne Enterprises. The solve will be worked out soon. Right now, all we can do is watch and wait. He like, I don't believe Mr. Holt is watching or waiting. It seems as though he figured it out. So from that standpoint, he goes on to say, it came to me after everyone was gone. In the silence of the room, the answer screamed out. The Nexus engine gathers netherlight radiation, ambient radiation that isn't harmful to humans. Barely detectable, the engine turns into a power source. The way the engine does that with bacteria that metabolizes the netherlight particles, leading to a quantum destabilization process. The power created by that process, though, is massive. It's not hooked up to a big enough grid, like, say, a city, so it can discharge. Boom. I was pretty sure that's what had happened here at Gotham. But the bacteria are the key. They destabilize the radiation in the engine and expel it, creating energy. So I modified the bacteria to absorb the radiation as a food source instead. The more they sat, the more they grow. The more they grow, the more they eat. Once the radiation was gone, the bacteria dies without a food source. Elegant. After Paulo's death, I've forgotten what it felt like to use my mind in a lab, to use my hands to build. But that night, I felt the spark again. For the first time in a long while. Not from being a hero behind the mask, but a scientist in a lab coat. Now, we got to go back to Cormorant. Now, Cormorant, he got to ask to grind with Athena. So as he's listening to what's going on, and you see him chucks a knife at Athena. So this seems to me like a three-way dance. Like, yes, you got Batman after Athena. Now you got Cormorant after Athena. And at some point or another, Batman will meet Mr. Terrific. And also, you might have someone from Apocalypse pull up as well. Now you fast forward to Athena. Now, Athena is being advised as far as what's going on because she needs to fix the radiation as well before she even pushed forward. So her assistant says, we don't know. Maybe a week, maybe never. It's a Quest 22. We can't fix the engine until the radiation goes down. But the radiation won't go down fast enough without the engine. And she says, where are the containment suits? In the anti-chamber. But me, Prescott, it's far too dangerous. The suits aren't made to handle that type of heat. And she's like, once the engine is on, it will absorb the radiation, correct? She's like, yes, but you don't understand. Right now, we're barely able to keep the room contained. You won't last a minute in there. He's like, shut up, help me get this suit on. I'ma handle it myself. And he's like, look, can you reconsider? And she's like, nah, cut the engines on as soon as I pull the lever, understand? He's like, confirm. Turn on the engines, and she started burning, and she started emitting lightning. So I don't know what's happening, but this is the end of issue number 4. So Athena may not be such an easy lick after all. But that's where issue number 4 ends. Now, I'm going to tell you my personal review on issue number 4. For me, it's a little too short. And what I mean by that is because we are so invested into the story as far as what's going on, like the early years of Mr. Terrific, what got him from point A to point B, how he became real good friends with Batman, how Batman, has a certain level of respect for Mr. Terrific and his rationality and his logic. We get to see that in future issues, but it's taking a little bit too long. It's more of impatient on my part because the story is not bad at all, because you got 2 forms of artwork. In the beginning, you get the current timeline of what's going on with him, and he just goes back and reminisces about his early years as Mr. Terrific. So this is a very, very good read. Very good read of Mr. Terrific Year 1, issue number 4. If you have not read it, I have covered every single issue of Mr. Terrific Year 1. So yes, at the end of this video, there will be links to those issues. So do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button and a notification bell. So until next time, peace.